You know this guy, Roy Rickstrew? Yeah, your Social Security rep. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Tom.
All right. I think we haven't covered one thing maybe in all the times that we have talked, the honesty that you as an individual has to have when you're dealing with Social Security disability.
Yeah, and we have talked about similar things in the past to some extent,
Yeah.
but the important thing to remember here is that a lot of times the medical records aren't complete enough for a judge to make a definitive answer. And so they find themselves reading kind of between the lines, looking for guidance on how to rule on your case on things that you and I may not think about them looking for guidance.
Okay. What are some of those things that, I mean, that opens a whole world is what it does when I'm thinking about it. What are some of the things, though, they may be looking at?
Well, and kind of the first thing to think about is, adjudicators have heard it all, right? I mean, you sit
I'm
in these
sure they
hearings,
have.
you do these cases, you've heard about everything that can possibly be said from clients along the way, and kind of a healthy dose of skepticism gets built in. And that's part of the reason why they look to these kind of auxiliary items to determine maybe how much you struggle or how well you function by kind of looking in unusual places. People forget that a good case and a good story look a lot alike. Right? If you come in and said, I heard all over and I can't do anything, well, if you're pulling the wool over the judge's eye, you're probably going to come in and say, I heard all over and I can't do anything.
Right.
But if you're legitimately struggling with a disability, that's the very thing that's reality for you as well. So the two look very similar. So that's why we look so much in these kind of unsuspecting areas, judges do. Things like the ability to take care of our kids and our pets, for example.
Okay. So it's more than just taking care of oneself.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, if you've got a couple, preschool age kids running around, somebody's getting them up in the morning, someone's helping them get dressed, someone's maybe still helping with baths, they're feeding them, meal prep. There's a lot of work that goes along with having young kids.
There is.
And that work that you do for your own kids looks a lot like the work you may do for someone else's kids in a child care, daycare type setting. So the judge will look to how well you're handling your children to see if maybe you could do similar complexity tasks, similar responsibility tasks for an employer.
Ah, okay. Now you're talking about children. There are other indicators, I would imagine. What about your surroundings?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And on the kids, real quick, people have a hard time admitting that they're failing in some of their parental duties.
Oh, sure.
Right, if a judge is to ask you, what kind of things do you do for your kids as a mother? Well, no self-respecting mother is going to say, I lay in bed all day and they fend for themselves. That may be reality. But we're hiding reality from the judge if we're not being truthful about the shortcomings. Sometimes people are afraid that children's services are going to get involved. There's going to be some sort of neglect or abuse type thing. But we have to be honest with the judge if we want to get a good, solid decision out of the judge.
Well, I would think it's honesty about everything that could affect what's going on in front of a judge.
Sure. I used to tease that I had a male lecture and a female lecture when it came to pre-hearing conferences, where I talked about men about hiding or putting their pride away and being very honest about the things they could physically do. A lot of times women don't want to admit that their house is a mess. We don't want to be seen as unwashed. We don't want to be seen as having let ourselves go. We want to make sure that we're not making a bad impression. Nobody wants to be seen as dirty or living in a bug-infested home.
True. I mean, that's kind of common sense thing, but that's not very easy for people to do all the time.
Oh no, not at all. But if we think about it, if you're struggling with depression, maybe the will to live, chances are the sink is piled full of dishes. Chances are the bathtub hasn't been cleaned. In reality, we may be living in less than ideal circumstances, but if we go in and tell the judge, yep, I take care of those things because we're ashamed, we don't get a good, solid decision out of the judge.
You can be sinking your own boat by doing things that way.
Yeah, most definitely. So you got to be real raw about the way things are. You got to put your pride to the side. And the thing is any one of these conflicts in the way that you're living your life or the way you're telling the judge and what the records say, it's a conflict. It's a credibility issue. And when the judge is looking to these kind of unsuspecting avenues to make a decision on your case, there's a concern if they can't believe you.
Is it best then to have someone such as yourself to be able to, bounce these things off of, whereas someone can say, no, that's not so, or is that really what you want to say?
Yeah, one of the things that a good representative will do in a court hearing especially is
Yes.
that they'll circle back if they don't like the answer to the questions. They'll circle back, they'll try to get that truth out there. They probe deeper. They help us kind of by having a third-party perspective. We're not reliant on our own recounting of how things are. We have somebody to quiz us. And under that pressure, a lot of times, the truth comes out. A more real impression comes out.
If people want to be able to speak with you, learn more about all you do have to offer, how do they do that?
Yeah, the 417-812-6698 is direct to my desk. And you know, if you're not ready to file for disability now, tuck that number away, stick it on the fridge. You have questions as you start transitioning from the workforce into a disability claim, give me a ring, let's chat. 417-812-6698.
Roy Rakestraw, your disability rep.